Today on LOLz, a definitive breakdown of the Hall of Fame preseason game tonight. Best plays, how much salary you should leave on the table, all of that good stuff in today's DFS showdown breakdown.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
Hopefully that joke was worth however many listeners / viewers we lose, like who listen to this on playback and are like, "Oh, that game happened last night. I don't care anymore." Don't worry. Don't worry. That game is above my pay grade. One of my college buddies asked me tonight, he's just like fiending to bet on football again. He's like, "You got a lean in the game tonight? Line's 33. I was like, "I got no lean. Maybe just take the under. All the good players are going to play about 2 snaps. I don't know."
I was going to say, there's a game tonight?
Yeah, I know.
Bears are playing?
The only reason I know is just because I see the ETR guys tweeting about their preseason package and Cody, famously grinding it to a nub over there. I honestly, because Justin over at Run the Sims, he used to be pretty in the preseason DFS weeds. I don't know if he's doing it anymore.
He's not. At least he's not with us. No, he's I thought he was more UFL. Maybe
I just naturally lump him and Cody together too much because they overlapped on so many of the niche sports, but maybe I'm getting that wrong.
Maybe not. All the Bears guys I follow, Pete, Luther Burden is looking real good right now. Better move him up.
Well, dude, I mean, music to my ears because I just kept drafting that guy and he kept getting cheaper. That it's like he hasn't stepped on the football field. And then the first time he did, he got hurt. And I was like, this is getting bad. And then the beat reporters are like, he's back. He's with the ones and he looks incredible. And I was like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is like all this stuff is like how much, like 80% bullshit. Who knows? But
it like inherently has to be, right? Because it's like, there's an appetite for this nonstop content. And so the beat reporters who if I was a beat reporter, I'd want to get a lot of followers. I'd want my newspaper to see that I was getting a lot of clicks and a lot of engagement and keep my job. So I'm like, I'll just keep shoveling that coal into the fire to keep it going. And we don't do a very good job of sifting through what's meaningful and what isn't.
The second aspect is they bullshit the other way too. They hide stuff because they want to maintain the access.
True.
And that one pisses me off. Because it always pissed me off as a kid as I would hear about Mickey Mantle stories and stuff. And, or just any player who had issues, they covered it up until the guy was dead. And then they're like, oh, by the way, he had cirrhosis of the liver because he was an alcoholic for 40 years and barely could play. That's why he really was injured those games. Or the steroid scandals, growing up. It's like, wow, Mark McGuire's so big.
Do you know what you need? You just gave me an idea for these beat reporters. What you really need, you need a secret partnership between the 2 top beat reporters. And one agrees to be the good cop and one agrees to be the bad cop. And the good cop is the one who maintains the relationship and the sources with the coaches, gets those guys talking. And the bad cop is the one who tells it as it is out there trying to get beneath it and doesn't care if he torches stuff. And together they form the ultimate beat reporter Voltron.
That could be possible. They have to make sure that there's no one knows of this connection.
Exactly. It has to be
outed. You're out. Yeah. So it's got to be someone who works for ESPN and then a Twitter personality or something teaming to get all the info. Because Woj, somebody like Woj, I guarantee, even though he drops bombs, obviously, or used to all the time, I guarantee he has tons of dirt, or whatever on guys that could be useful in fantasy and sports betting, etc. That he'll just never let out.
For sure. And that's the thing that stress. I mean, you hear the stories about guys like Schefter who quite literally has to sleep, with his phone on and ready to break any story at any time. But on top of that, think about the amount of vetting and fact checking they're having to do on tips. Like you get this juicy tip, but you can't just run with it. Like then you have to source it out multiple places. Like I would crumble underneath the fear of going public with a really like plausible, but ultimately false rumor. That would suck. So, and it would like destroy your reputation, but then you also have to be fast because then Rappaport's going to beat you to it or whatever. It just does not sound like a fun game to be.
How do you monopolize this though? Like, so like, let's say, the MLB guy, what's his name? Jeff Passan right now with the MLB trade deadlines like tonight or tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
How does he monopolize? So like, let's say he teams up with Davis Maddock, right? He's got a big enough following. He's going to give him the
after Davis broke the Quinshon Judkins news.
Yes, exactly. Well, maybe that's where he's getting it. Maybe this is happening already. How does he make money off of that with the added risk of releasing this inside info?
That's the thing of like, if you're not getting paid by a major corporation for this stuff, like. I mean, there's no solo independent beat reporters who have a Patreon for their breaking news or whatever. Yeah. And then you think about it as far as NFL, right? Like ESPN has mostly cornered the market like on this stuff. There's Rappaport, who's part of the NFL arm, which makes sense. But other than that, it's like ESPN. Like, what is the point?
Well, I guess it would work. It would work with like Fantasy Life, honestly, probably, right? Like Fantasy Life can just cut the guy a check.
Yeah.
Somehow not under the table, but whatever, for services rendered or something. He does like an article once a year or something, and they give him a couple $100,000, and then he feeds them all the juicy nuggets, and you guys like split it up. You'd probably get busted though, either way, because it's like, oh, only Schefter knew about this. So,
and at this point, it's like I'm trying to think of like, what would I actually consider a juicy nugget? And it would probably be on the injury related front, like the team keeping like a diagnosis or a rehab timeline close to the vest. And they know, oh, it's actually going to be 2 months instead of 1 to 2 weeks. That would be very interesting. Obviously legal stuff. It's like, hey, we got this heads up. This Rashi Rice thing's actually coming down the pipeline now, as opposed to next year. But as far as like, this guy looks really good in camp. It's like, I think half these teams don't even know how they're going to deploy these rookies to start the season.
That's what made me think of it. But I swear, sometimes it's got to be pretty obvious. Who's a guy recently? I'm sure there's one. I'm just blanking on it. Who like just did not know where to line up. Was clearly not going to get the rep everyone thought he got. And then after like the first week, and he goes out there, and the coach is pulling him and stuff. I guarantee the beat writers knew, and they weren't going to say it.
Yeah, because they probably feel some responsibility of like, we don't want to crush a kid's confidence his like first week and a half in the league.
Yeah, and then like, let's say the guy turns out to be a stud. Now he's never going to give you an interview again. But you also might maybe the coach wants to like knows that he's not going to play, but he might use him as a decoy on some plays or something that week. And if everyone knows the guy's a bust right now, you're going to blow our strategy. Like there's so many reasons that he won't. I feel like there's got to be cases though. To your point, like these guys don't know, but like maybe with a QB, maybe you might know, like, I don't know, like, oh my God, this like Shedeur Sanders or something. Like, I'm assuming you could see like, oh, this guy's, he might be NFL caliber actually. Or it's like, no, I see he like everyone in the locker room hates this guy's guts. Like he's going to be gone by the middle of the season, I'm sure they know something that they're not saying.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure there would be some interesting stuff. It's just like, even the game we play, like, I feel like that information is like even way more useful, like for dailies or weekly contests, right? Where it's like, I can apply that right away. It's like, you could get like a decent tidbit, and it's just like, there's so much randomness in over the course of a 17 game season. And not to mention, like, how would you even capitalize on it? Like, okay, I'm going to go in a draft and like take this guy at 100 straight drafts or something.
Well, there was just a news story like a couple days ago. Watkins. Right? Wasn't it Sammy Watkins? I just saw, I think it was Watkins. It was some speed burner who didn't really have the career they wanted.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody correct me in chat, or you tell me if I'm getting them wrong. They were alcoholic. Maybe it wasn't Sammy.
Okay.
Who was the guy, the wide receiver who was like a speed burner, never really reached his potential?
I didn't see that article.
And he would get like 2 hours of sleep before a game every single time. Everything. He's just drunk.
Yeah.
Like there's no way they don't know that.
Yeah.
There's no way you don't know if you're really embedded and you know the guys and like everyone there would be like, oh, he's going out tonight. No, not Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon was a pot guy anyways. I'll find it.
Okay. Yeah. So we shall see. I mean, I still always like, it's definitely gotten better. Like The Athletic, I think, does a pretty good job, and they write up bigger articles with more nuance and quotes from the coach. It's really just like the fire hose of tweets from training camp that are just like out of control right now, where there's like 9 reporters just posting Zapruder film that they recorded from 500 feet away in the parking lot. And we're supposed to do something with any of that. Keep the Chief says it was Sammy Watkins. He said he was out all night, every night. Yeah. And what was he, 4th overall pick by the Bills, I believe, when he was a rookie?
Yeah. I mean, Sammy Watkins was a big DFS / best ball type of guy that people wanted, or even season long. Like, oh, this is going to be the year. It's like, would you be taking Sammy Watkins that early if you knew he was an alcoholic getting 2 hours of sleep before game time? No.
There's also the idea too of just like, I wonder with his career too, because there was so much pressure on him like that. He got drafted in that 2014 class. That was the insane class. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson, Brandon Cooks, like so many dudes. I wonder if too, I wonder when the like drinking and partying like that started. And if he came in and then the weight of all that expectation and he was looking for an escape constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Or he's just an alcoholic.
Yes, I'm just wondering if there's any causation there. It's speaking of athletes and nefarious activities. There was another story about an MLB player, Cleveland Guardians closer Emmanuel Clace. Is that how you say it? Has been placed on non-disciplinary paid leave as part of MLB sports betting investigation. Clace is the second Guardians pitcher on leave tied to the investigation, joining right-hander Luis Ortiz. This obviously comes right on the heels of the big Malik Beasley thing. Although the more I read and hear about that, it sounds like he's being kind of wrongly accused of, throwing games for gambling purposes. But what did you make of seeing this in your beloved baseball streets?
How short-sighted and the low amount of money these guys are like getting for throwing their careers down the tubes does not make much sense.
He's going to be a non-disciplinary paid leave. Non-disciplinary paid leave is through August 31st. So I hadn't read up about this one, but it is like, this is an unusual amount of stories coming out within like the past year, right? Ever since the DeJounte Porter case, I feel like we've just had story after story after story.
Yeah, this is like a side note, but it's like, it feels like there's a lot more important crimes happening in America that these people should be focusing on before really investigating in these. I don't know, side note. It's like, I guess this kind of sucks, but like what? Like, I'm sure there's someone getting shot somewhere. Like, go fucking protect some people. And like, I don't give a shit that he did this personally, but like why? I mean, why would you? Maybe there's more to some of these stories. Like, sometimes guys get like gambling debt, or the mob gets involved, or somebody threatens them or something. But like, a lot of them aren't like the Portnoy or Portno or whatever his name was.
Portnoy always in his own gambling scandals. Michael Porter Jr. Was his cousin or his brother, DeJounte Porter?
Porter. I think the Raptors guy.
Yeah,
that was just like for like whatever, $8,000 or $30,000.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So I don't know if you listened. The guy, so Pablo Torre had like blown up that or done the deep dive on the Malik Beasley stuff. And there was all this kind of weird occurrences, but then like the more it got untangled, it really did seem like more or less like just a coincidence. And like even the game where all the big money was coming in on the unders on his rebounds, he went over, he was like hustling way over for the rebound. So it like doesn't make sense. They were talking about it on the Bet the Process pod, and they had the guest who had been investigating it. And they both benchmarked it at around like a 10% chance he was actually throwing games and stuff for his props in the same way that like those other guys were. Except the issue though now is if you hear the term Malik Beasley, like my association was, oh, that's the guy who was part of a gambling syndicate. So I don't know. There's now where the pendulum has maybe swung too far in the other direction with some of the stuff that everyone's on the lookout for this, that now we're persecuting guys before they're actually proven guilty.
Yeah. Which it makes like my side note even more like, why are you like, if you're wrong, like you better be damn right. I wonder if one of the reasons they're doing it is just the headline of like, hey, we're doing stuff, we're catching people, see, like these guys got caught, just to get that headline. And then my kind of conspiratorial take would be my overarching theme I've had for a couple years at this point on the show, whereas the gamble, like the gambleholics slash cheating and stuff legislation isn't here yet, and it's coming. Like they're gonna use this stuff, and so maybe they're ramping it up now, getting some cases that they can use to write about and go like, now we need even more legislation and taxes and regulation, and then as it gradually shifts to lottery style oligarch, 2-3 companies running the gambling industry.
There's also like this weird chicken or the egg dynamic to it, right? Where you'll hear the purists say like, see, this stuff is ruining sports and gambling. It's ruining the integrity of sports. And it's also like, how many randoms are going to be watching a Cleveland Guardians game, on a Friday afternoon if they don't have money on the game? You think about how much gambling makes these things interesting. Like who's tuning in to watch Malik Beasley, get 4 rebounds in the fourth quarter of a blowout game of a non-televised, small market game. It's like, oh, it's the gamblers. It's the people who have fantasy action on it. So it's like, I don't know. You might be.
It's also like the jersey wearing mentality that this stuff matters at all. Like it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it does not matter if the Indians lose or win. It's just a stupid sporting event. I know it's fun to watch and stuff. But I bet in like the Black Sox days and stuff, the sharps in the crowd were like, oh, I heard Shoeless Joe's throwing this, man. Let's bet on the other side. Dude, the odds are looking good. You're playing like this meta game like on poker. Like I know he knows that I know he's cheating. So I know the bookie knows. And you could make it a whole nother game. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's like not like it has the winner has any effect other than like the tribal instincts.
I'm sure it was far more, they're probably like pure volume alone about like shady business probably wasn't happening just because the sport is so much bigger and there's so many more fans in so many ways. But I'm sure there was like the level of shadiness was like much higher than when it was all unregulated, all the backdoor things. Like, because you think about like coaches and stuff like that, like leaking information now, it's like you might be wiretapped. There might be an investigation. Like there's all these things that can blow up your spot immediately. Whereas then I feel like you just have decent plausible deniability. Like I didn't say that, or I didn't do that, or whatever. So it's like, I'm sure the communication was ramped up back then.
Oh yeah, I think one difference is now you could do these prop bets, like kind of like micro situations where it's like, I just got to throw one ball and I can make $100,000. Here's a ball, there we go. Where like I imagine there wasn't so many alt lines and stuff in like the 1910 illegal bookies, where you kind of got to throw the game, or there's probably sides, maybe totals, like who knows what they had, but yeah, you'd have to make a big effort. But also the salaries were way less, so you could definitely
trying to extract more value out of whatever information you had. Man, people always get mad when you don't pretend like sports are this hollow thing. He said Brian's take is always, I don't care about sports. That actually reminds me, we did on the Swolecast, someone had like tweeted this out and then we used it as a topic of, what would you rather take? Someone gives you $2 million, but if you accept it, you can never watch any sports again the rest of your life.
2 million.
Well,
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'd take that.
Okay. See, this is Brian winning the sports heads back over. I said no problem. I'd take the $2 million.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can I can never watch. No, yeah, I think I'd pass on that. Yeah.
What if League of Legends was a carve out and you could watch?
So give me the 2. Give me the 2 then. No,
that's what I thought.
Also, there's a difference between matter and caring. Like, right. I could be like the biggest sports fan of all time and still recognize it doesn't really matter, though.
Of course.
Yeah. So like it's just, all I'm saying is like it, because like when I was a huge sports fan, and like my team was in the playoffs or something, I was literally on the edge of my seat, like shut the fuck up, shut up, every pitch or every play, and it's, you gotta like get ready for the event. Are we going to go to the game? Are we drinking? Where are we going to go? But then like eventually, when you get the tribalism beat out of you from, it was admittedly from gambling, but you're like, wait a second, this doesn't matter at all. These guys don't give a shit about me. They're not even from here. A lot of them aren't even from this country. The stadium no longer exists that I was born next to, like the team can easily leave. And for a lot of people, it has, since they were kids, like
yes.
they don't care about you. And it has no meaning whatsoever. Like other than it's just a sporting event. It's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah. We got Consigliere remixing the question. You get 2 million and you can watch sports every day, but you cannot gamble on it. Essentially you won $2 million. And then the price you have to pay is that you can never wager again. Would you take that?
2 million and I have to watch sports. So it depends on how long.
I think the spirit of that prompt is just the second part. Whereas I love how you process that as like, that's a chore that I would have to watch sports every day.
Yeah. If I, you can't gamble and then you get 2 million. Can't gamble on sports only. Yeah. I think I take the 2. I don't know. So that's fantasy and sports betting.
See that. Yeah. That takes out a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
think that's why the sport, like for me, so like I still love making fantasy sports content. I love drafting teams. I love playing DFS. I don't have to watch sports to do any of that. So it would be easier for me to get rid of that. Whereas if you took that away, that like erases the entire infrastructure of how I spend like a good chunk of my time during the week. So that part would actually be way hard. I would say no to that because it would probably take me a while to like build up. Like, okay, what am I going to do now?
This is kind of like what we were talking about last time with the $5,000 a week. You get $5,000 a week, you could live forever. $2 million. Yeah. I mean, do we have to pay the 1 million in taxes? Probably. And then it's like, well, what is that? What is 1 million?
Yeah, let's say you pocket 2 million. Let's say it's 4 million and the government takes their 2 and you end up with 2. I think that's
you get two CAC. I mean, $200K a year for 20 years, is that, or 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't know.
Yeah, you basically like you could basically you'd basically have your employment figure, like you wouldn't have to work and you could go travel. Like it's not like if you buy a sick house, like, well, there goes all your money. Like right there. But you could just say, I'm content with my current quality of living. I'm never going to work again and I'm going to travel.
Yeah. I think my hang up's just like this weird personality quirk of like, I have to do or not have to do.
Yes.
I'd rather just like, leave me alone. I just want to do whatever I want to do for the rest of my life. And so like, if I one day want to watch a sporting event, really badly, but I can't because of this $2 million thing, like I don't want to think about it. Like, just leave me alone.
Well,
either way.
It's actually funny because I feel like, remember in not early DFS days, let's say like mid DFS, like there was this whole thing. I think when like guys like you started using sim tools and the optimizers got way more sophisticated and there was this like, do you have to watch the games debate? And I feel like we even had a lot of those conversations with Travis Petty and stuff on the show. I feel like those kind of died off, especially with how good Sims have gotten. It felt like pretty clear that you didn't need to watch ball, that you were outsourcing watching ball to other people via projections, via tools. But I feel like in the best ball space, that conversation is like constantly popping up again, where people get like really mad if it's like it's even like you're the slappies or you're the ball knowers. You know, there's the people putting in the work, watching the film, doing that, and they know ball, and everyone else is doing it wrong. And it's just funny to see us go through that same cycle with a different fantasy sport.
That's it. Yeah. I think it's also all interconnected, because I think the sim / sophisticated tools, whatever you want to call it, in both best ball and DFS have actually pushed it to the ball knowers for whether it matters or not. Because in 2017 or whatever, if you had a decent sim, I don't think you did need to watch the games. Well, and also too, watching, like, knowing ball or whatever is a lot of it's taken for granted. People watch this show or Salka, like you're in like the top, 0.05% of people who watch sports.
Yeah.
Like, you go talk to a normal random person, you just grab a random person on the street and go, like, did you know Sammy Watkins was an alcoholic? They're going to be like, who the fuck is Sammy Watkins? I have no clue what you're talking about. And you know what position he played for, what team he played for, what round he was picked, and all these people that you take for granted, where people in this world would be like, that's not ball knowing. That's just common sense. That's like breathing. Everyone knows that. So like everyone kind of has ball knowing, because you kind of you have to even put together a play-by-play sim and all this type of stuff to build your more sophisticated process. But like, leaving that aside, as the tools became more available and better, ball knowing becomes more important, because it's garbage in, garbage out. They only know what you tell it.
For sure. And I think what I'm talking about is more, there's true ball knowing, which is like what Travis Petty did with NBA. It's what Utica does. These people who like truly have an eye for the sport, and they pick up on things that the average fan isn't doing. And they're putting in a big volume of time to amass that knowledge, where ball knowing has now been used as like a euphemism for like, I care more about the things you're not spending time on. Like, I read more beat reports than you. I read more coach index speak blurbs. I watched more film breakdowns of who this guy is a player. It's like, therefore I know ball. And I'm like, but you might know more ball, but how does that actually play out in practice of the game we're playing?
Right.
That's the bigger question.
For like a politics one, because I've thought about this concept before, is like, people like, I know tons about politics. I can name 30 senators and 100 reps off the top of my head. It's like, okay, well, have you ever like worked a bill and tried to get it passed and know what goes on there? Like the actual things that matter. Like, no, they have no clue what really happens at a Capitol. They just know all the names they see on CNN and MSNBC, and they could rattle off, all the presidents of the last, 100 years or something. And like, that's no ball. That's no ball. I know all the names of the players. I know who's the cornerback for, whatever team, and he's really good. And it's like, are you sure that's the actual no ball that you need to win it, whatever you're playing here? But they like, but I know all the names.
Yeah. And I mean, part of it, I'm kind of yucking people's yums here, because some of the fun for people is feeling like they know something that other people don't know, or that they're weighting something more that other people aren't factoring in enough, even though in actuality, it's going to have a very little or marginal effect on like how good you are at best ball or DFS.
And I mean, and they like, if you count it all as no ball, they do know. Like, even when people go home to their home leagues in the next 2 weeks, it's like, I'm going to know more than everybody. You know what I mean? Just from doing a few.
Just a contact high.
Just a contact high of Twitter and all the shows and, doing work and stuff. And then I'm going to do some drafts to get ready for it and stuff. And I'm going to be like, I cannot believe they let this guy slide to these idiots. You know what I mean? And this are guys who are paying hundreds of dollars to do a fantasy league that they've been in for 20 years. So it's like, the no ball amount of is people know, they know, like it.
And I like that idea. And I think Bales has written about it before, this idea of like, understanding like conceptually like game theory or whatever. But then there's actually like what works in practice. And like the people who have done something over and over again, who've developed domain expertise, they don't always have to fall back to the theory or like, I don't know, like the best heuristics for have to do something, because they've seen the scenario so many times that they feel the intuition is ultimately like what can guide them. Like that to me is a level of knowing ball, of like, you've done something so many times, you've seen this situation where it's like, even though it doesn't pattern match onto how everyone else wants to do it, you're able to use your like wealth of knowledge to make like the best possible decision based on this new situation.
This isn't directly related, but it kind of is. We're working on the week 1 stuff right now, which
nice.
the no ball portion, rev shares, the priors for all the players and all that stuff. And so I'm like, hey guys, here, go here, do this. And I'm like, Yuta, why don't you change all the priors for all the players? Like what he thinks they should be compared to what kind of the computer spit out.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go in and manually change them. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up is because he goes something like, oh, we got to make sure that people know that this isn't my model. I'm just adjusting the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, whatever you want to say. I'm like, do you have a model? He's like, no. He's like, I just have infinite time and then make all the tweaks myself. And it's like,
yes.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, tell the people you don't have your model that you never made, because it's like, because basically what we're trying to do is quantify what we're talking about. There's a bunch of different ways to like to skin the play-by-play cat, so to speak. Like you could do like a machine, like we're trying to do more of like an AI machine learning model. I'm not sure we're going to get it up to date on week 1.
Oh, nice.
But we have the play-by-play model currently from last year, which is like, you run pass, and then it's a pass, and then the pass goes to roll based on all the data, and I say, okay, does he catch it? And then, okay, how far does it go? And it's based on all their stats and stuff. And then you have these priors, and they get updated. This is kind of the main way people have, I think, done it when they first started doing it before the tools, before like, the machine learning started getting more and more popular. But anyways, that part is like less important nowadays, where getting the input as opposed to garbage in, garbage out, getting all those little tiny numbers right, adding, which may not be a huge edge by themselves, but in aggregate can add up, is the no ball portion that I think is so important.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what we're going to be doing over the next, 3-4 weeks before the season starts, is trying to dial all that in.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine
apply his Simser in his brain. I mean, there's no other way you could do it. I really don't know. Like I think this is the best way to do it. Like, how do you apply someone who has provable no ball skills but can't code? And then
that's why it's such a hard problem for you. Like for someone too, like Yuta, I imagine it would be in the same way in petty theft, right? Where they're like, I don't even know how I would teach someone what I do. Like, I'm sure there are some very valuable things, but it's also just such an intricate process that it's like, is it even teachable? Is it even digestible for someone who's not going to put in the work? Because even Petty said, if I had to do, like, I was like, is there a way to do your process like scaled down, like you do 10 or 20%? And he's like, no, the process is the 100% process, which is like the same thing I imagine, where it's like, could Yuta have a course on like how to spend your 60 hours on an NFL week? Probably, but like, is anyone going to actually do that?
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably some things that are just like uncodable, I imagine, or there's probably some things that are just like outliers such that it's not worth it to code it in. if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, trying to think of an example. Like maybe like, I don't know, like a third string quarterback has a tiny chance to play and only that or something. Yeah. And it's like, well, if we had to do that, we'd have to like redo a lot of code to like add that in, and it barely affects anything, or maybe like there's some like outcomes in the distribution that are very rare that only this person knows about that you might not be able to code in without like a whole bunch of extra legwork or something. I'm sure there's things you can't code in. But I think like if you give them the keys, you build it all for them and then give them the keys of every variable that they could change.
Yep.
What else can you do?
Yeah.
Like it's got to be the closest you can get to combining. Because I saw Levitan talk about this in a tweet yesterday or whatever, where he's like, he still thinks the best. Yeah, let's just read them.
Oh, yeah, because Sam Hoppin tweeted this thing, Aaron Schatz, hi, I did the Wharton Moneyball podcast, blah, blah, and he had a quote, as much as we want to believe that our models are objective, the way you build your model is in its own way subjective. And then Levitan said, I'll go even further to say that the inputs to the best models are often subjective. And then he uses the recent Jets example, Bric, Braylon, Isaiah Davis carry split will be 70-25-5. I think it will be 55-35-10. A model can help capture range of outcomes off of that, but it can't know the exact correct inputs. Still believe the process that yields the best outcomes by far is a true mix of the best objective and best subjective work.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you could, if you don't put in like the closest to actual outcomes or range of outcomes, it doesn't matter how good the coder is, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you put in a good range of outcomes and you're not comparing it to what you should be comparing it to, or just with the distributions, etc., portfolio stuff, it's like it's not going to give you what you want, especially anymore, where like maybe before you could like just optimize and just give me the best based off of my guesses. I'm not sure that still might win you money, honestly, if you are the absolute best handicapper, but you need both basically. And now more than ever. Go ahead.
For sure. Yeah. I definitely think that is clear. I just think it's probably way easier to know if you have a really good coder or a really good developer than it is to know, do I have a really good ball knower? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is such more of like a moving target, or even I imagine too, what's like hard for guys like Yuta and Petty is that, like, again, going back to this, like following their gut instincts on situations where maybe there isn't a hard and fast rule for like, when this happens, you do this. It's like, well, I saw this, and because this happened and because the coach said this, then I knew that this was a higher probability. Like it's hard to like bake in probably those one-off things into a logic tree in a model.
Neil's actually got a pretty good example where Kobe's final game was impossible to code in. What was the controversy last year, or maybe in 2 years? We talked about it on the show. It was an under in an NBA game because the player was on a games played streak or something, and so they were going to start him. Was it Draymond Green? I can't remember who it was.
That sounds about right.
And then somebody tweeted it out like, "Hey, this is a great under because they're going to start him and not play him." Right, and so like, yeah,
and everybody, yeah.
Yeah, that the Kobe one's a better example. Yeah, I think it was Miles Bridges, Neil.
Okay.
The Kobe one's a better example though, because it's like you can't. What are you going to code? You can't code in a legend who's just going to ball hog and go off, but everyone knows it. But even the books got that wrong, unless they took the prop line. I can't remember, but their prop numbers weren't even close to as high as they should have been.
No. Yeah. Well, it looks like we have Mikhail. Miles Bridges, Mikhail, whatever. We got a Bridges. One of the Bridges.
Kevin Looney Kevon Looney might have had something, but
yeah,
it was definitely Bridges.
Yeah. So like, I meant to ask too, talking about that stuff. How is the portfolio stuff coming with Shady?
Dan is in Alaska, so we're putting that on pause right now, but it doesn't seem like it'll be too hard to implement it.
Okay. Wow, Dan. I mean, I guess he's getting in his vacation right before he hunkers down for football season.
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow.
He said he was going to ride an Orca.
Okay.
I don't know if PETA is going to get behind that, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I can already picture the photo going viral and Nerdy Tenor getting canceled on Twitter.
So it's the one where he's in singing, singing when he's singing a note. And
Exactly. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys cook up over there. And I'll give a little tease here now too, that we're going to have part of the my Friday afternoon DFS content. We're going to have a little collaboration with the Run the Sims guys. The JM show is here to stay as well. We're just expanding. So yeah, Friday is going to be a very fun day on the channel for Salary Cap DFS, and then obviously off and on the clock with the Badge Bros too. So yeah, it's crazy, man. We're like 4 weeks until Labor Day, 5 weeks. We're talking about week 1. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's coming fast. Yeah. And we're still building on the back end. So
yeah.
Getting
are you nervous? Like, are you feeling the time crunch?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. It's so much different than when it's just you, because I could just do a lot of it myself.
Yeah.
And I can't do that anymore. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, that's like the push-pull of anything, right? From a collaboration standpoint, it's like you can accomplish so much more with other people, but then also it slows you down because you feel like, hey, I gotta check in. I gotta make sure that we're all on board with a decision I'm making.
Mm-hmm. And when it's for yourself, like, it doesn't matter if it looks good. It doesn't matter if it breaks, because you can fix it. You know how to fix it and stuff like that, but you can't do that anymore. So
Bric nervous about the group project.
It's like college all over again. I remember I did a group project speech, and just no one in the group was doing anything. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll just make it up and go up there and riff. And because literally no one would do anything. So I went up there and I did the whole speech by myself. I'm sure it was awful, but researched the day before, put together some shitty PowerPoint. I'm like, just get me a C, get my C. And because literally no one would do anything in the group. And I finish up, and then we sit down, and I'm like, okay, I got through it. Hopefully maybe DC worthy. The girl after us, clearly the same thing happened to her in her group, and she had to do it, and she panicked and ran out crying. Right? It was an auditorium. It was an auditorium class, right? So there's 150 people or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, she just totally had a crash out. And then you could see that no one else had helped this poor woman because they couldn't do the rest of the speech. They were just like, next
awesome.
Slide. And then they would try to read the slide or interpret what the picture meant and stuff, because they had no idea what was going on. It was a complete disaster. And then the grades are public, right? Afterwards. And
oh God.
And so she got a better grade than me.
Wow.
And the group did too, because the teacher felt bad for her.
That is you always know too, if they randomly assign the groups and you immediately know, do I have the workhorse in here, or we're 4 of us who are going to be looking at who's going to take the lead here, then you're like, shit, this is a bad collection.
I mean, you got it, but you have to play right off the bat, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe you could do it. But then when everyone's doing that, eventually, and the speech is 2 days from now, it's just like, fuck, I can't fail. I gotta graduate.
Champ reminding us of, after the Olympics, Halliburton posting a pic of his gold medal and saying something like, when you don't do any work for the group project but still get an A. Why are the grades public? Is this an American thing?
I mean, I don't know. I think that was most classes. All the grades were public, but you couldn't you didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
They were associated with their school ID or something, but we knew somebody in the group. And so it's kind of obvious because there's only so many groups and that went on that day.
Yeah.
And so I know which one was mine. I don't know. We figured it out. This was a long time ago. I don't think it said their actual names though.
You passed along this tweet here. God. A new sports betting tax idea was introed in Chicago last week. Man, you guys in Chicago looking to fill a $1.1 billion 2026 budget gap. Some of the mayor's finance team presented an idea. I'd love to see this PowerPoint to impose a 50-cent per wager tax on online bets placed within the city limits. They said it could generate 40 mil.
It's only a minute long. You can watch it. It's right there. It has audio. You want to listen to these geniuses?
Do we want to listen to this? Okay.
Do it really quick. I think like maybe.
Oops. Here, let me get the Chrome tab so we can get the audio, and then
doesn't it just auto play now? Yeah, do it faster speed. It's funny on the slower speed because they're just
at specific venues, and the only venue that we have that's currently qualifies under this ordinance is at Wrigley Field. 2024 was the first year that we collected a full year of revenue from this venue, and we only collected about $20,500. Most of sports betting is happening online. If you look at this table, this is a snapshot of what wagering looks like in Illinois, and it's from the Illinois Gaming Board. You'll notice almost 98% of that activity is happening online, and that's not something that the city is capturing revenue from. So the state, in its latest budget, just passed a 25-cent per wager tax up to the first 20 million wagers placed in the state. And then starting with 20 million and one, that tax bumps up to 50 cents per wager. And a couple of companies, including DraftKings, FanDuel, the biggest names, are passing this on directly to customers, or at least they've publicly said that they're going to do that starting September 1. And what we looked at is what if the city extends a similar 50-cent per wager for all the wagers placed in Chicago. And we are estimating that this can raise anywhere from 40 to 41 million over the next 3 years.
There you go.
So we had this conversation when this was first. Was it the 25 cent was the first time?
I don't think they even got the bill right. Yeah, I think it's 25 cents for based on how much the company takes in.
Yeah.
And so and this was purposely put in there because they wanted it to only affect FanDuel and DraftKings because the guy who lobbied for it was the Bet Rivers guy who wasn't pulling in that kind of dough.
Oh.
And I think it sounded like she said it's based on the date. Like it's 25 cents and then after a certain amount of time it's 50 cents. I'm pretty sure that's not how. Oh yeah, that's
okay. This tax if implemented as presented successfully would be in addition to the new state per wager tax now in effect. So that's 25 cents on each of the first 20 million wagers for each sports bet, 50 cents on every wager thereafter. Both FanDuel and DraftKings will effectively pass through that tax to players starting on September 1st.
And it's kind of ironic. I wonder if Neil Bloom or whatever his name is, the Bet Rivers guy, sees this getting taxed. He's like, well, wait, hold on. I have to pay another 50 cents. Wait, this might actually affect me negatively too. Yeah. These morons, it just boggles my mind. They can't see how a 50-cent tax from the state and a 50-cent tax from the city would affect someone who's betting 50 cents or $1 or $2 or $10. They can't, they clearly have never placed a bet. They know nothing about gambling at all.
No.
And
in their head, they think it's like, when you get 12 cents change at CVS and you drop it in the jar for Salvation Army. That's how they think it is.
I mean, there's no better definition than when I said that they used in Springfield, which is gambling's a tax on stupid people. And she says it in this video where she goes, DraftKings said they're going to pass on the tax to the user. So it's like she knows.
Yeah.
Which in her head, she goes, this is a win-win because it's paid directly by the consumer. You don't got to raise taxes on the Chicago residents. It's only these idiots who are gambling anyways, and they just have to pay an extra quarter or two. Who cares? 50 cents in her case. Yeah. So it's like, this is great. And look at, if you multiply that number by the amount from before, you get $40 million, right? Not that maybe this might affect the amount the companies take in dramatically, and you're not going to get $40 million.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's like the whole thing with the federal bill, right? Where it's like they think that it's going to result in all of this extra revenue, but it's like if a lot of high volume players stop gambling, then how much you're pulling in there is going to go down anyway. So you might like just be nagging yourself in what you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, who knows what the it's going to be less, that's for sure. But also too, no mention of problem gambling here again, by the way. No mention of problem gambling, how any of this stuff would affect problem gambling, because they're all fucking phony and they use it when it's useful. That's it. That's all these ideologies are. They use them when they're useful and they hand wave them away when they're not useful. And eventually, though, my prediction, we should put this on a poly market somehow. There will be the gambling addiction / Gilbert Arenas, Mike Beasley act coming down the pipeline, which will fuck us even more. I guarantee it. But yeah, these idiots. So I mean, there is another tweet I sent you if we have time. With
I have this one.
I was gonna say the good news tweet.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had clicked over and then I realized I wasn't on window. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, MGM Resorts CEO was among 3 gaming industry CEOs that met with the House Ways and Means chairman last week to discuss the recent controversial change in the tax code that limited the amount gamblers can deduct from their winnings from 100% to 90% of their losses. Less than 12 hours later, Smith, that's Jason Smith, the House Ways and Means Committee chairman, committed to raising that percentage back to 100% by the end of the year before the change takes effect. So very, very positive news there.
Yeah. I mean, it raises it from 5% to 20% maybe, or something good. Hopefully the I wonder. I'm pretty sure there is actually a market on this. I wonder what they're at. They're probably around 30% or something. Yeah. I think the biggest note is that Republicans are involved now. Because the original was that Las Vegas Democrat woman, Dina or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't have any power right now, so it basically does not matter at all. And and also, especially when they're the minority chamber, a minority party in the chamber, like they'll still just say anything a lot of times that like, oh, this isn't popular right now. Okay, well, hey, we're opposed to it because we can't do anything about it anyways, like with Epstein too. It's like, Democrats are going after Epstein's like, weren't you just in power like a year ago? You were fucking doing shit then. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. So like, of course it's easy for her to go like, and maybe she is, I mean, she's in Vegas, I believe. So of course her beneficiaries, it would help her state, even if you aren't cynical, like that she's getting money from people who are getting affected, companies that are getting affected by this. Like, of course she would want it, but yeah, she doesn't have any power. She's Democrat. So the fact that Republicans, and this isn't the first one either, there's 3 or 4 Republicans, I think, who have spoken out about making this change. So that's the best news we've had, I think, in the last month or so. So, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, anything moving in the right direction, like you said, to have people on both sides committed to doing this and making it appear more that this was like an accident or a mistake, as opposed to something that's like politicized and one side is trying to get what they want is very nice. And then the
Tony says Dems didn't have full control of the government. They had full control of the Department of Justice, my friend. They could have easily released that stuff. All right, Gilbert Arenas. Speaking
so this was
Department of Justice.
Yeah, this was the news that broke yesterday. Former NBA star Gilbert Arenas and suspected Israeli crime figure were arrested today on federal indictment alleging they operated a legal gambling business in which high-stakes poker games were played at an Encino mansion Arenas owned. But did you see the Gilbert video after? He has this video. It looks like exiting like the courthouse or something. I'm back on the streets. This ain't got shit to do with me. Just rented the house. Wasn't a part. He's running out celebrating. And then he has a tweet. They can't hold me coming out of the coffin. But the funniest was Did you see the Nick Young video of talking about Gilbert about this?
Maybe I did, but I can't remember. It's
I gotta pull this up. It's a little long, but it is so funny. We could watch it on. Let's see here. Let me make sure I get audio on this. But so obviously Nick Young does the podcast Gil's Arena with him. You know, they're friends. They do a bunch of stuff. This is his response to Gilbert getting arrested.
Oh, what's going on today? God damn. God damn, man. They got him. They got him. Oh, man. Hey. It's over, man. It's over, man. Stupid motherfucker gone, man. They got him. God damn, man. We just got out, man. I just got out, man. I do fingerprints and shit, man. They just got us, man. Hey, but don't worry. Don't worry about the show or nothing. Gilbert, don't worry about Gil's Arena. I got that now. We might as well just change the show to Swaggy's Arena and in conjunctions with Gilbert. We're going to put a little Gilbert sign on the side. It's still Swaggy's Arena until you come back home. And once you get out, it's back to you. But for now, I got it. I got that. All right? It's just welcome to Swaggy's Arena, y'all. In conjunction with Gilbert's Arenas. We're going to have just your name on the side. It's still going. And don't trip. Because where you going, you can be comfortable. They got TVs. I'm going to send you all the updates. You can make all your bets on Underdog. Do whatever you want. You're still there. You know, I've seen you, you know, the feds, they let you chill. You can have some shoes. I send you the latest Gil's Arenas. The Adidas, I'm going to send you all those. You're going to be flying that shit. But look, when it comes to the show, I got it. Don't worry about nothing. So when they bust in, I say, oh, shit. Oh, whatever he did it. He did it. Whatever they said he did it. Yeah, man. Got his stupid ass. And that's my brother, too. I love him. But he's stupid. And shit. When I seen that shit, I said, nah, man, what the fuck going on? I was looking around like, damn, so
that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
I just they busted whatever he did, he did it. Oh my goodness. So yeah, is he gonna do real time? It certainly does not appear like it, or they are not acting like there's anything serious coming.
Who would have thought the guy who got suspended for a year over a gambling dispute over a card game would get in trouble for hosting a card game? Do you remember that when Gilbert Arenas got suspended
of
for
course.
I guess that wasn't entirely about the gambling part, because I looked this up.
There was a gun involved. Yes.
It was mainly the guns, and like they were fucking with each other, but
yeah.
They said it was a debt, but and the guy he got in the argument with, I can't remember his name, was like Clinton or something like that.
Yeah, Jarvis Clinton or whatever.
Yeah. He never played again.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
There's a whole documentary about it on Netflix. Did you see what the name of the it sounds like I'm doing a setup to the joke, but the documentary is literally called Shooting Guard.
Oh my God. So I looked up because I was like, it's so stupid that you can't like host a poker game in your house.
Right.
And like, if you're like, it's my house, you guys fucking smoke in here or something, give me $20. It's not whatever. I don't know. Like,
well, who hasn't played? I played in an underground poker game in high school where some like random lady was collecting rake and like provided sodas for us.
Of course it should be fucking none of their business. But so I looked it up, and in some states that it actually is legal, but in California it's illegal. But here's the fine: according to the Penal Code 330 PC. It's up to 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine.
Okay.
And you can host a poker game, but you cannot take rake.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's just like, what's the point of hosting a poker game if you're not taking some sort of rake?
Right. Yes. I mean, yeah. Wouldn't charity also be illegal in that case? But, I mean, you just charge for the time seat. You know, like there's poker rooms that do like time seat charges, and like, oh no, I'm not raking it. But to me that seems like this is not that big of a deal. Like,
yeah.
I imagine if it wasn't a high profile case, you probably rarely go to jail for that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's your first time. But he was just renting the house, he said. So
yeah. Yep. Man. Yeah. It's their podcast is massive now. I think they're at like 1.2 million subs on YouTube. Did you know that? They're Gilbert Arenas.
No.
Yeah, they've been just an absolute rocket ship.
That's a good sign for sports betting and DFS.
Yeah. But yes, these guys they're something else. Bric, I got to get ready for ship chasing here in a little bit. Anything else people should keep an eye out for Run the Sims?
We're like all NFL at this point. So yeah, sign up. Oh yeah, well, we're doing 15% off if you sign up before the season starts.
Nice.
Code is early bird, and that will be that we're gonna take that off of it. I don't know, like a week before the season, maybe 2 weeks before the season. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And that's forever.
Forever?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There you go. You can lock that in. Yeah, as far as for me, I have, like I said, ship chasing. I'm doing After Dark tonight, 8 p.m. with Elliot Chris from Fantasy Life. And then I am away for the weekend, heading to Florida for the ship chasing meetup event. And then I will be dragging my ass on Monday morning because I get in at like midnight. But I will be back for Best Ball Breakfast on Monday. But hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. Hit the like, subscribe on your way out. If you guys are audio heads, we will upload this to Spotify. And we'll see you guys next time on LOLz. Peace.